Welcome to the WSL Post Show. Round 2 and 3 are in the bag. A huge day of competition, and it finished with a very exciting exchange. Connor Coffin with the Rookie of the Year title on the line, pulled into what looked like one of the waves of the day. It was one of the waves of the day. He fell just short of getting the required score to upset Kelly Slater. Slater keeps his dream alive of chasing down an 8th world title. Ronnie Blakey joined by a former finalist here at the Pipe Masters, Ross Williams. G'day, Ross.
How's it going, Ronnie?
Are you okay after that last little flurry of action in the dying stages of round 3?
Just when we were getting lulled to sleep, a crazy crescendo to the end of the day. That was some fireworks from Connor.
Very big. Wow. He almost got the number he needed.
That was close. You know, it was a good comparison between him and Kelly. Kelly had a much smaller wave, but more technical and long. And then Connor's was just an absolute bomb. It was bigger, so it could have went either way.
Strider, Wazalewski also joining us for the post-show. Strider, you loved that long, drawn-out barrel of Kelly's.
Yeah, I think I'm a fan, and I'm a huge fan of Connor. The turn he did earlier today in his other heat was probably the best turn I've seen in this event so far. And you know, it was a note from Shane Dorian to Kelly that he's going to have to go throw down some sick turns afterwards because, you know, of how good Connor was surfing. You know, he was surfing really well, and that last exchange, you know, a full point more was what it needed to be in order for him to get the nod over Kelly, and you know, the judges didn't see it that way.
Yeah, Kelly adding the extras with some moves on the inside. Let's hear from Slater now. He's with Rosie Hodge.
Thanks so much, Ronnie. Well, Kelly, I know that you know that when that wave approached, it was going to be a good one. Your thoughts when you saw that thing coming into the lineup?
Well, what did you think?
It looked like a bomb, and he got a 907.
No, it's a really good wave. I was really jealous. I saw it pop up, and I was like, well, the only thing I can thank is that he needs in the 9s right now. But it was just one of those perfect little ones on the end that you look for. It was real sort of scalloped out and hollow and real sort of wedging, but a nice little angle to it. And I mean, on little days like this, those are the waves you look for. And you know, it was. I mean, there's a lot of ways I could look back in hindsight. I could have taken this wave, or I shouldn't have. There was one time I went on a wave and I didn't need to, and then he had I had priority and he needed a score at the end, and I flipped around and took that 8 point, the one I got the 8.2 on. He wasn't at the peak. He could have got the end of it, but it wouldn't have probably been that good from down there. And then maybe I would have ended up on his. But, you know, either way, it just ended up, there was a funny little tactical battle. You know, I saw the heats before, like Adriano's heat looked really slow. There was a number of heats. I mean, in the first 10 minutes of my heat, I was already leading against Kanoa and Julian in their heat. And so I could tell it was real slow. And I just was trying to get something going on some of the smaller hollow ones.
And, you know, your first Pipe Masters back in 91, did you think, you know, back then that would be possible right now that you'd be surfing such a short surfboard, but then getting barreled and coming out and doing massive airs? Do you see that potential back then?
Well, that's what I only surf those other ones to get ready for this one. Well, you know, I was talking to John about it yesterday. Backdoor is one of the great airwaves in the world. It really is when the wind goes southwest and there's these little hooky ramps on the end. Like yesterday we were talking about it, there was just ramps everywhere. It was just whether you had enough nerve to try to stick with your board from how high you could get. But there's a little wind cushion yesterday.
And the energy's in a frenzy. I mean, everyone trying to push the limits at the moment. Are you just stoked to be a part of that, pushing the boundaries all the time, and it's still inspiring the younger guys?
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's always more to learn, and there's always, you know, learning about your approach. Airs are a different thing than carves, you know. There's a real different way that you lean and use the lip and all that kind of stuff. But it's, you know, it's great to see how many rotations and flips are coming in. The stuff John and Gabrielle and Felipe and you know, for that matter, Chippa Wilson, guys like Chippa Wilson and you know, some of the free surf guys that Surfing Dane just put out in his video. Jordy stuff. Look at that alley-oop Jordy did in West Oz, or the barrel to alley-oop. I think it might be the greatest clip ever. Just, it's so, you know, it's fun to see that kind of stuff, and it's fun to you know, to be able to do it if you can figure out your right line and the right wave and the right time.
Kelly, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Back to you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Rosie. Be remiss not to mention Albie Lair in that group of people pushing the boundaries with the rotations and whatnot, but certainly an exciting day of competition and a very lucky break for Kelly, squeaking through that heat. Unfortunate for Connor, the Rookie of the Year title was on the line, and he came so close. What was it? 0.1 away.
Well, here's the cool thing, you guys. For Connor Coffin, I know he didn't get past Kelly in that heat, but it's a nice way to end his year because just like everyone else, they've had little moments of brilliance and then a lot of bad results. Connor came in hot, had some amazing heats and bells, and then had a lot of frustrating results. So it's cool to see Connor get a taste of success, and he could kind of steamroll into 2017.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he's maintaining his spot on the championship tour, because he did fall off the pace there for a little bit, but so much to look forward to with Connor. But of course that means that we do have a Rookie of the Year winner, and that is Kai Otton. His form in the early stages of the year, and really the guy serving John, his two most disappointing results all season. That is huge considering how well John served.
Yeah, I think it's something that you really can't look past. He just was always there. He was always ready to pounce, and he becomes a dangerous threat when a guy can catch a smaller inside wave and do that kind of damage to take out his opponent, and that's what he did to John.
So the quarterfinal and that run of ninths saw one of the more consistent starts to the season. It had him right up the top end of the ratings. Did fall off the pace midway through the year, but came back with a ninth, and that was enough to stitch it up. So congratulations, Kai Otton. I'm just getting word from Turtle Bay that he's enjoying his first Mai Tai. Well deserved, and we look forward to watching him compete again. Just an amazing performance, I think, from all the rookies today. They really turned it on.
Yeah, Ryan Callanan won a lot of fans today. What's crazy is guys like Ryan, they're gone for the year. They're going to be back to the QS Tour, and it's a testament to how tough the CT Tour is. There's absolute stars that don't make the cut. There's only 22 spots.
Yeah, he hasn't been up to it the last couple of days too. He was sick for about 3 or 4 days and really not feeling good through all those lay days that we had. Luckily they were lay days, and then see him come back, and that barrel he got this morning just looked like he was on fire, and the confidence he had. He is such a great surfer.
Let's just rewind a little bit earlier till today, because we knew Kelly was up against it in his heat against Connor, because he put together such a strong performance in the second round. One of the heats of the day against Jack Freestone.
Yeah, Jack Freestone, another guy we're talking about. This is a part of the rookie class. Look how perfect that wave is. That thing is crazy looking. A weird year for him. Missed a couple of events due to injury, and then had a solid result, getting second place in Brazil against John. So again, for Jack requalifying on a QS Tour, look out for him in 2017.
This guy, are you kidding me? This surfing he was doing, the turn he did when he came out of the other barrel was just out of control. Flying through these tubes. Look at how perfect the waves were. It was just crazy this morning. And in this turn, at the end there, the final push out, busting the fins free, just on point right there. Connor Coffin, bringing him back next year. I cannot wait to see him mature into the tour and really just take because he's going to take some.
Yeah, put up some of the best numbers today, despite the fact that he didn't progress through to the fourth round. Connor Coffin can hold his head high. A very strong effort in his first Pipe Masters. Can't wait to see what he brings in 2017. Some really heartbreaking stories today. Obviously, a lot on the line for a number of competitors. Keanu Asing got a win over there in France, but just couldn't solidify a place in the top 22, and he was devastated after his loss, Ross.
Yeah, it's so tough to watch an athlete do a post-heat interview when they go down. You could tell it was a bitter pill to swallow. He had so many of his local fans down here cheering for him to get the job done, but he came up a little short. So as crazy as that high was in France, it was a pretty low today.
Keanu Strider surfed this heat really well, but wasn't with priority in the final stages against a kid who's been ultra consistent at progressing through the second round. He hasn't dropped the second round heat all year.
He hasn't, and he's been there right at the end when he needed it, finding those last waves to push him through and executing. Really just putting a number in and hammering one home and finishing off his rides. And I think that's the key for him. And, I think he's going to mature and grow and get even better with us. He's going to start pushing a little harder. I think we'll start to see the confidence play into Kanoa's game, and we'll see more rail out of him because, he does the technical stuff all the way down the line, kind of putting it together, but we haven't really seen him lay into the waves.
It's been pretty impressive here at the Pipe Masters so far. Continues to roll through the event. But Keanu Asing, I think, after he's chewed on this result for a little bit, he'll be able to look back on 2016 with some really good memories. One of 8 surfers getting a CT victory this year. It's been a remarkable season.
Pretty incredible, and he came up with some big wins against big names. That's the thing that he can really hang his hat on, especially in 2015, taking out Gabriel Medina in Brazil. He took out John a couple times, but my favorite thing, the quality of his carbs for Keanu.
Nice surfing right there. Asing just absolutely cracking away. I mean, this guy is just a rabbit. He just keeps nailing the lip. This heat was amazing right here. He was going off in this heat, but it just didn't come strong in the end.
Well, the gnarly thing about these guys like Keanu is once you get on that run of dropping out of events in the second and third round, you're battling top seeds all the time. And Keanu's just one of those guys who just kept turning up for those matchups against big names, Kelly Slater over there in Tahiti, and then obviously plowed through a huge list of much more fancy competitors over there in France, getting the win over Medina. I mean, people would have lost their houses on that final.
Totally. It was pretty amazing. And again, it was just a dream run for him with those little baby lefts, and Keanu was going to town with those speedy backhand snaps. And it was actually one of the stories of the year for John in terms of one of his lowlights. Being exposed a little bit of what he can maybe work on with those little left-handers. Keanu exposed him.
Yeah, and it was, I like what you said, Ronnie. A lot of fancy competitors, a lot of guys with all the glitz and the glamour around them, and Keanu's just a hard worker, and he gets it done, and I love the fact that you can do that and rise above and become a champion, and he proved that for everybody this year on tour by winning.
I think Keanu's got to channel the fire that he finds for those big matchups with big names, because more often than not when he falls out of the mix early on in events, it's two surfers that really he should be beating.
Yeah, and also here's the good thing for Keanu Asing next year. The good news is he doesn't have to split his attention by two tours. He can just focus on those QS 10,000s. There's only 5 of them per year, so he can come in hot and try and take the kids down.
Okay, another surfer that we're saying goodbye to, maybe forever. I mean, Keanu Asing's very young. He can get back on the QS, re-qualify, but I'm not sure we'll see 37-year-old Kai Otton chasing the QS next season. This guy has given us so many magic moments. He's a character, brings a lot of laughs to the championship tour, and he lost out in a close one to Kolohe and Dino today.
Yeah, he did. Kolohe found a lot of flow out there and, got the job done, and right at the end, just pulling it off. And look at Bones, though. This guy just does not lay down, finding little barrels, throwing it up into the lip. This guy is such a hard worker, and the stuff the guy does, like when the waves of consequence show up, he is just head down, whipping it under the big black walls like at Chopu, those Fiji grinders on the inside at shish kebabs when he's just packing those nugs, just hoping for a way out, just putting it all on the line.
I mean, full credit to Kolohe and Dino with that injury, fighting his way through the back end of that heat to get the victory. But we're talking about Kai Otton here in this moment, and it was bizarre because after his second round heat win, Kai did a post-heat interview and sort of said, look, I'm not saying that I'm going to retire from competition. And he also almost robbed himself of a chair up the beach as a result. I think there would have been a lot of people had he said, look, I'm not going to chase the QS next year. At that point, after his round 3 heat, there would have been people lining up to carry him up.
Absolutely. One of the most respected guys on tour amongst all his peers, and I think the main reason for that is because of Kai's character and his attitude. I can tell you right now, look at he's having fun here.
That wasn't one of his top 2 rides, by the way.
One of the funnest guys to be in the competitors area during a heat. The guy is just full of jokes. He's so dry-witted. To hear his commentary is just absolutely amazing.
Look at that shot. That's one of the most lasting images from competitive surfing I think we've ever seen. One of those big years. Kai absolutely crushed those big days over in Tahiti and had a number of excellent scores, 10-point rides out there at Chopes.
He is such an animal. I love it. I mean, just getting underneath those waves out there. When you see these things come at you in the lineup, let me tell you, it is one of the most horrifying sights you've ever seen, knowing you just got to turn around and whip it. And Kai loves it. I mean, he's an animal. Fiji as well, just pulling up under huge, thick, gnarly sections, just plowing through. He's a great tube rider, and he's not scared to have a little bit of fun.
This is what we like.
And
right
why
here.
not? And I cannot wait, because I honestly feel like this guy is going to come around the corner and just be sitting right next to us, with us, having fun on tour, maybe talking about it, because he would be so fun to have as a commentator.
He would be. He'd be
Good
all
call.
time.
Hopefully he's not putting one of us out of a job, but he is a very funny human. And the bigger the better for Kai. I mean, great moments at all the heaviest locations on tour. That's Pipe, last year, I believe. Just not afraid to whip it. And we're going to miss him dearly, hopefully. He said he might try and get into the trials in Tahiti. I would love to see that. Love to see him get that opportunity at a real fairy tale finish to his career.
Yeah, I think so. And so it caught him by surprise, and that's how all these warriors are. You're just head down, competing as hard as he could. I'm sure he had dreams of making the final in this event, and so when he finally lost, he's like, well, I don't know, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was still thinking about winning this event. So it'll take him some time to digest the result and then take it from there.
All right, let's talk about Heat 6, Heat 7. John Florence, Gabriel Medina, our number 1 and 2 coming into this contest. Neither of them have won the Pipe Masters. Really strong performance from John, looking super comfortable. Up against B. Durbidge, who helped mentor John through a lot of events during the season.
Yeah, this wave I saw from the water, it was just crazy watching him turn around. The way he takes off under the lip and gets to his feet like a cat, but then as he's doing it, he's pushing on the rail, look, and he's already basically going down the line, pumping as he pushes off of his rail. I feel like he's actually doing a pump in the barrel as he's standing up. It's just so fun to watch.
No one gauges their speed better in the barrel, straight up. John, he just does freakish stuff in the barrel. We know what he can do above the lip, but we were on this heat, Ronnie, and to see Bede show up that strong in the Triple Crown after that horrible accident 1 year ago, that was pretty rad heat.
So many cool stories playing out at the Pipe Masters this year. Ryan Callanan, he had a tough job ahead of him going up against Gabriel Medina, who's coming off the back of 2 finals here at the Pipe Masters, and they'd met twice this year already. This was their 3rd battle. Ryan hadn't beat him, but he got the job done, and I think disposed of one of the toughest competitors in the draw on behalf of everyone else.
Yeah, you know what, Ryan Callanan, this was the wave that got it done right here. It matched up to that last one of Gabriel Medina's because they both got a really nice barrel and just hacked it off the end. Really great surfing right there. And you know what, our Cal, he's such a strong surfer when he has confidence, when he's got his headspace there and he can actually put it together and get everything he has together and put it out there and get to utilize how much talent he has. It's so fun to watch.
Ronnie, I just want to say almost every heat that Gabriel Medina has lost this year, it's been by a hair. He was this close to being right there with John or taking a world title from John. So pretty impressive, all those losses that Gabby's had this year. He was still absolutely ripping.
Yeah, and seemed pretty positive about his prospects for 2017, so no doubt he'll enjoy the break. Let's dive into some more of the big stories, of course. Adriano de Souza, former Pipe Master, knocked out of the event. Wasn't the finish he was looking for, but I got to say, I thought he surfed really well. I think it was one of his more polished performances this season.
Yeah, no doubt. He looked so focused and really ready to go, but you got someone like Nat Young, whose career is on the line. You had to feel all that passion from Nat, but I agree with you, Ronnie. Adriano looked pretty tough.
I really liked the way he surfed his heat this morning when he got started and just threaded the needle in those beautiful conditions. But Nat Young is keeping the dream alive. This guy is up against the wall and performing under pressure, competing. No matter how he has to do it, he's getting it done. And it seems to, it's a page out of De Souza's book. That's something that De Souza usually just goes to work and gets done and takes his competitor down with tactics. And Nat did that to him, so he flipped the script on him.
Well, qualification was the motivating factor for Nat, and he was up against it coming into this event in 22nd position.
Oh, heavy.
So he was on the cutoff line, and it looks like he's shored up his position now, already into the 4th round. Looking pretty good, Nat Young, and disposing of Adriano in a low-scoring affair, but he wouldn't be too disappointed. He wouldn't care as long as he gets the W.
He's got to be so happy, Nat Young. As you mentioned, he improved his points by a lot, and I was kind of doing some math, and actually Konoha Igarashi's still in the event as well. If he can take Nat out by a couple of results, he could nip him and push him down, which we know we've been talking a lot about how crucial that is for Zeke Lau. So there's still a lot to be kind of said about those two guys battling each other.
That's true. Well, let's see what Nat Young had to say after the heat when Rosie Hodge caught up with him.
Well, Nat Young, that was such an important heat for you. Just speaking to you this morning, it just seemed like your head was just in the right place and that performance really shone through in that round 2 heat. And now, carrying on that momentum into round number 3 with Adriano de Souza, who was a big matchup.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day for sure. It's actually been a crazy couple months. Just watching myself fall down the ratings, and then the position I came into Hawaii, not have done any QSs, and just sitting in the last spot. It's been stressful for sure, but like I said, I woke up today and I just felt good and didn't feel too stressed out for some reason. And that heat with Adriano was really slow. The wind picked up a lot, and I managed that one wave under his priority, and that was really all that came through. I just looking at my clock it felt like I was looking at it every 5 minutes, but that was every 10 seconds. thing couldn't go down quick enough. So yeah.
And we notice in the lineup, just watching the energy, you can see that relief when that hooter goes. And is it just that build-up in that moment where it does have that pressure valve for you?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, so that was a relieving feeling for sure to make it through that round, and to get to round 4 in the no-loser round and have a couple chances to make some more heats. Yeah, it's been a relief today for sure. It's just a big build-up till today, and now that today is done, relax a little bit.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people watching you and just supporting you back home. Do you want to say hi to anyone?
Yeah, definitely. All my friends back home have been sending me messages, and it's honestly given me a lot of encouragement, and I really appreciate all those messages. Say hi to my mom, my girlfriend, and all my friends back home, and I'll see you guys soon.
Well, Nat Young going on through to round 4. Well done.
Nat Young, we've missed that smile this year, but he's starting to feel good about his prospects for requalification, and getting into the 4th round certainly going to help his case. But he's got a tough heat there. He's going to meet Ryan Callan and Josh Kerr, and while we're talking about those round 4 heats, let's have a look at what's to come, because some big matchups established in the top half of the draw. Heat number 1 is an absolute showstopper, Ross.
Yeah, you got Jeremy Flores, Felipe Toledo, and Kolohe Andino, so that is a stacked heat. The forecast tomorrow is looking similar to today. We're still waiting for that northwest boost, so you never know. We could wake up to better waves, but it's looking like a rippable, fun backdoor.
Your thoughts, Strider, on who's going to take that matchup out?
Jeremy, he's on fire. He looks like he's having fun. He's got a good group of Groms he's staying with, which always keeps the energy level where it needs to be. His girl's here, and he's, obviously really good at backdoor.
Really good at backdoor. Heat 2, Ross, another great lineup. Can John Florence be stopped?
You know what, Joel Parkinson's, he's he's just creeping in the weeds right now, waiting to, to take this event out. Everyone's get all psyched on, John and all those other guys, but it feels like Joel could nab that one.
And then this one is a great heat. You've got Ryan Callan and Nat Young, a couple of guys who've battled all season, and Josh Kerr, who's really looking to make a mark in this contest and make some potential sponsors aware that he's looking for a new major spono, and who knows, he's been ripping too.
Well, I think he's a favorite in that heat. He's got what it takes to find those little nuggets at backdoor. He knows that little aints bowl, and if it's bigger, he just licks his chops. He's a little guy, but he loves to charge.
And 2 surfers already through to the 4th heat of round 4, Kanoa Igarashi and Kelly Slater, and we have to find the other from the 12th heat of round 3 between Jordy Smith and Alex Ribeiro. Gentlemen, what a day it's been. I think we've earned a rest, but we will be back here first thing tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. for Dawn Patrol. In the meantime, enjoy today's highlights. We'll see you tomorrow.